Hello guys, welcome to the lesson. We are going to start today on page 22, lesson 2, okay? Let's repeat the words. To set up, to show up, to interrupt, a parish, to preach, a preacher, a stock exchange, a stock, a share, a shareholder, a stockholder, to invest, a debt, in arrears, caution, cautiously, to browse, to end up, to aim, and aim, regarding, to regard, a sermon, to administrate, an administrator, to note down, a banknote. Okay guys, the verb to set up means the way that things are organized or arranged, okay? To set up, to organize or to arrange things in a determined way. But guys, it's not in the book, but there is also the noun a setup, which is very common. A setup is a situation where somebody tricks you into doing or making something that to seem that you are guilty, okay? To make it seem like you are guilty of something. For example, a situation where the police stops you, okay, and they ask you to get out of your car, for example, and they want to, they put drugs inside your car and make it look like it was yours, okay? This is what we call a setup, okay? This is what it means, okay? To show up means to arrive somewhere in order to join a group of people. Okay, normally when you are not expected or not invited to show up. Okay? A parish. Guys, a parish in some Christian denominations are areas that are taken care of by one priest. Okay? It's a parish. So a parish includes one priest, one church, and an area that this church is responsible for. Okay? Or an area that the church provides for. Okay? To preach. To preach is to give a religious speech. Okay? Or it can also be used, for example, in the relation between fathers, parents, and sons and daughters, okay? Parents and children. And it means to advise, okay? But during this, while advising, okay? They take a long time, okay, talking about other situations, normally with moral lessons about the situation, normally in a boring way, okay, we can use it in that sense too. Okay, a preacher is the person that preaches, okay, normally a priest or a pastor, okay, a bishop. Okay, I'm sorry, I skipped the word to interrupt. Okay, to interrupt is just like Portuguese. Okay? Stock exchange. Guys, a stock exchange is a place where shares of companies, that means pieces of the companies, are negotiated every day. They are bought and sold, and the stock exchange is an organization, and their employees, the job of their employees is to buy and sell shares of companies at the best price and make money, to the owners of the shares, to the owners of the company, okay? For example, here in we have here in Brazil Stock Exchange in São Paulo and in Rio. In the most important stock exchanges are in New York, in London, in Frankfurt and Tokyo. Okay, these are the most important stock exchanges in the world. Okay, iStock, guys, is the total of something that is available in a shop. Okay, for example, we have it in stock. So we have the product in stock. It's similar to Portuguese. Okay, but iStock can also mean the same as a share, which is a part of the company. So iStock and a share are synonyms in that sense. Okay? So, from the same sense, a shareholder and a stockholder are the same thing. The stockholder or shareholder are the people that own part of a company. Okay, or parts of a company, okay? Normally, the big shareholders, the ones that have more shares, they normally have the right to vote, to make decisions, so what can be done and not, how is the company controlled or not, okay? Okay, to invest is just like Portuguese. A debt is something that you owe to somebody, especially when you talk about money, a debt, or when you don't pay a bill. For example, if you don't pay your electricity bill, you are in debt, you have a debt, okay? In arrears means, guys, it's the opposite of in advance. For example, here in Brazil, when we pay for rent, we pay in advance, okay? For example, the rent that refers to the month of June is paid on the first day of June, on the first days of June, okay? But the school, for example, okay, here, so all the lessons that you have during the month of June, you pay only in July. So that is that you pay in arrears. Okay? So in advance is when you pay before, in arrears is when you pay after the service is done or the product is delivered or whatever, okay? Okay, caution. Caution means great care and great attention. And is a noun. Cautiously is an adverb. Okay? To browse. Guys, to browse, you must have heard this name before because, for example, some tools like Google Chrome and other navigators, they are called browsers. Okay? To browse originally had the meaning of looking, walking on the street, looking at the shops, but with no intention of buying anything, just walking around, okay? But nowadays, the meaning is more like to look for information on the internet, okay? To browse on the internet is when you are looking for information but nothing specific, or you are not looking for anything specific, so this is to browse. To end up. To end up, guys, means to finally be in a particular place or situation. Okay? To end up is when you have the result that you wanted. Okay? It's not the same as end, simply, but when you have the result that you wanted. Okay? To aim. Guys, to aim means to intend or to point at a target, to aim a target, okay? This is to aim, to put, to point a weapon in the direction of your objective, of your target. Okay, this is to aim. And an aim is the noun. So an aim means the same as a target or an objective. Okay? Regarding. Regarding, guys, is a preposition, and it means the same as in relation to or about. They all mean the same. A sermon, just like Portuguese, is what preachers do. To administrate, administrator, just like Portuguese. To note down means to write something in order to not forget it. Okay, in order to remember it, note down. And a banknote is a piece of paper, okay, that is printed and it has money value, okay? So we have coins and banknotes, okay? In the United States, they don't use a banknote so often. They normally say bill, $20 bill, $10 bill, okay? A $1 bill, a $100 bill. It's the same as a banknote. Very good, guys. We have here a new grammar point. Passive voice. Guys, passive voice is very easy, okay? Because the structure is a lot like Portuguese, okay? So what's the difference? What's active voice and passive voice? So, active voice is what we have been learning since book 1, okay? Is when the subject does the action, okay? I give English lessons. Active voice, I am active in the sentence. I do the action, okay? So, in the passive voice, in this structure, guys, that I have just said, I give English lessons, right? Okay, this is active voice because I am the subject and I do the action. What's the action? Giving English lessons. Okay, to make this into the passive voice, what do I have to do? I have to turn the object into subject. Okay? So, in this case, the sentence would be English lessons are given by me. Okay, so I have to change the verb here to the passive voice. This is the passive voice, guys. This is basically it. Okay, we'll see more examples here in the book, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be clear for you. You have already learned about making sentences using the active voice in English when the subject does the action in the sentence. I studied the 3 books. I, subject, studied, verb, the 3 books, object. But sometimes sentences can be constructed in another order. We might want to say that the subject suffers the action. Or perhaps we don't want to say who did something. This can happen for lots of reasons. See the explanation below. In this case, we can use the passive voice. So, the 3 books were studied. We can add by me, but it's not necessary, okay? So, how to make the passive voice? We make the passive voice by putting the verb to be in a specific verb tense and the past participle form of the main verb. Guys, the verb to be can be in any verb tense, okay? There is a rule for what to do, but we'll see. And we always will use the past participle. Remember the first example again. English lessons are to be given, past participle, by me. Okay? So, the 3 books were studied by me. See the structure here? Very good. So guys, here we have in this page, page 23, we have a table showing us how it changes when it is on the active voice and to turn it to the passive voice. For example, in the present simple, I drive a car. A car is driven. See? I drive, present simple. A car is, present simple. Driven, past participle. Okay? The next one, present continuous. I am driving a car. A car is being driven by me. And so on. The table, people, shows all the verb tenses. Okay? So, let's think about, because we have some situations that are not so simple as this one. Okay? Let's go down there after the table. Verbs with two objects. Some verbs that have two objects can make two different active sentences and so two different passive sentences too. Look at these examples with the verb to give. Andrew gave me the book. Andrew gave the book to me. So we have two constructions. These two are in the active voice and they mean the same. So, you can choose either of the two objects to be the subject of the passive voice. I was given the book by him, or the book was given to me by him. Okay? I can transform any object into the subject. So we are constructing the passive voice. Other verbs often have two objects in a sentence are ask, offer, teach, tell, lend, promise, sell, and throw. Some more examples are I lent a pencil to Tom. I lent Tom a pencil. Tom was lent a pencil. A pencil was lent to Tom. Again, they offered the job to Simon. The active. Passive. Simon was offered the job. They offered Simon the job. The job was offered to Simon. Okay? Very nice. So, when should we use the passive voice? The active voice is always much more used in the English language than the passive voice. However, there are some circumstances that it is used properly. When we want to change the focus of the sentence, for example, it doesn't matter, I don't care, it's not important who made the action, but the important thing is that the action was done, okay? So, the school was opened in 2014 by Rachel. When we are more interested in when the school was opened than in who opened it, okay? When the agent of the action isn't important, is unknown or obvious. He was arrested. Obvious agent, the police. He can only be arrested, people, by the police. Okay? My bike has been stolen. We don't know who did that. The road is being repaired. An important agent. The book can be obtained from the library. People in general. Okay? Okay, number 3. In factual or scientific writing, we can also use the passive voice a lot, okay? The liquid is placed in the machine and the data entered into the computer. Okay? The agent is not important here. In formal writing, instead of using someone, people, they, these can be used in speaking or informal writing. So, the book will be finished next month. Instead of saying we will finish the book next month, the book will be finished next month. Number 5. In order to put the new information at the end of the sentence, to improve style. 3 books are used regularly in the class. The books were written by Jane Austen. It means Jane Austen wrote the book sounds less well written. Okay? So, using the passive voice sometimes shows a better control of the language, a better knowledge of the language, okay? And shows that you can use formal style, okay? Number 6, when the subject is very long, happens a lot. I was surprised by how well the students did in the test. It's much more natural, guys, than how well the students did in the test surprised me. Sounds a little bit confusing, you know, because the subject is how well the students did in the test. How well the students, okay, did is the verb already, okay? So, it sounds more clean, more clear, okay, than the second option. Okay, the verb get. You may sometimes hear the verb get being used instead of the verb to be in the passive form. This is less common in written English and normally used when spoken in informal situation. So instead of the verb to be, we use the verb get. Of course, don't forget to put the verb get in the appropriate tense. Follow the table, okay? Example, be careful with that glass, it might get broken, okay? Peter got hurt in a crash. He was hurt in a crash, Peter got hurt in a crash, okay? As you can imagine, the passive voice is used frequently by journalists and factual writers and is less often used in spoken word than in the written form. Okay? Okay guys, this explanation is a little bit too long. I will separate this lesson from the let's repeat and let's practice, okay? And I will record it separately in 2 videos. Okay? See you soon. Bye-bye.